What's going on, guys? Super Savage 789 here, bringing you guys a video. And today we're doing What If the Saiyans Were Androids, episode 1.5. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. Once returning home with the two new Saiyans, Chi-Chi scolds her husband for being so rash. Raditz assures her, though, that if they wanted her dead, she'd be dead. Although this has the opposite effect as to what Raditz wanted, she ultimately agrees to allow them shelter for the time being. Meanwhile, at Capsule Corp, Bulma finishes reprogramming Android 16 and allows him to go and live out his life. He leaves, where he ventures off to a nature reserve, finding a man named Lapis. We'll come back to those soon, just not in this episode. With Vegeta alive, future Trunks would brief his father on the situation, who is pissed. Instead of rushing away, Trunks tells him they'll get cursed on by Gohan in his current state. Instead, they should both use the hyperbolic time chamber. Vegeta finds this to be a decent idea, and so the duo venture to the chamber. During their training, they'd both achieve the Mastered Super Saiyan state due to having learned about it coming after Goku and Gohan. Once they get out, Trunks goes to the future, and Vegeta ventures to Mount Paozu to test his new strength. He arrives where he sees the four Saiyans holding a particular grudge against Nappa. He attacks Nappa but is stopped by Goku. Goku and Vegeta battle, with Goku easily overpowering and subduing the prince. Vegeta flies away, still angered about his current stature in the pecking order. Raditz would be curious about his android body and asks Bulma since she has the blueprints for him and Nappa. Bulma explains his infinite energy and his eternal youth. She also mentions that while Raditz and Nappa are currently themselves, it's highly likely that their true souls are still in hell, so theoretically, there now exist two Raditzes and two Nappas. Throughout the years, a lot occurs. Goku tried to teach Nappa and Raditz the Super Saiyan technique, however it seems like they are unable to tap into it due to their android biology, tampering with their Saiyan biology. Despite this, they are still pretty powerful. Goku would achieve Super Saiyan 2 and be extremely powerful due to having two extremely powerful opponents that never tire. He'd be slightly above his base in the Buu Saga due to this, however. He'd be weaker overall due to not having Super Saiyan 3. Goten would be very different in his development. Having his father alive would make him less of a clone of him and would allow him to have his own personality. Also, him and Nappa would get along quite well. Nappa would teach Goten how to be a lot more confident in battle, which would benefit Goten in the long run. Gohan wouldn't slacken his training as much as Raditz would make his nephew train more intensely due to knowing firsthand how strong he is when his potential is released. He wouldn't be very powerful and wouldn't get Super Saiyan 2, however he'd at least be slightly stronger than his Android Saga counterpart. Since there were two new mouths to feed, Chi-Chi would make Goku work a lot earlier. She'd also force Nappa and Raditz to help him. Due to their infinite energy, the two androids make it a competition to see who gets more done, as Goku simply trains. Nappa would go to Bulma since she is the smartest and teach her how to create Saiyaman, since, of course, they can be made. She'd genetically engineer them to be a lot more powerful and be able to use them as her own little assistants. Vegeta would train more intensely than before, which would put more strain on his relationship with Trunks, so much so that he won't even care when he shows he has Super Saiyan. It would inspire Trunks to train harder with Cybermen to impress his dad. Piccolo and Raditz would train occasionally with each other and gain a mutual respect for one another. It would also make Piccolo slightly stronger in the long run. Since Krillin doesn't have a family to take care of, he'd probably spend his time doing some light training, most likely with Yamcha. It'd mean that neither one would get rusty, and so their overall appearances would still resemble their Cell Saga counterparts. As normal, Gohan would get into Orange Star High, and he'd still become the Great Saiyaman. Since his house is so crowded, and since Raditz is so smart, he'd quickly realize Gohan's alter ego. He'd bring it up to Nappa and Goten, asking what they should do, since he wouldn't want to bring it up with Goku and Chi-Chi, as one would freak out, and the other one would of course be Goku, and would try and train Gohan to be a better hero. Nappa looks at Raditz and says, "The only thing we can do." Later that day while on patrol, the Great Saiyaman is kicked to the ground. He looks up and sees three villains are in costumes to say that their names are the Great Radish Man, the Great Cyber Brute, and the Greatest Saiyaman. Knowing their identities makes Gohan chuckle at this. He'd attack them with light attacks, which they pretend hurt like hell. Eventually, they shout that they haven't seen the last of him, and fly away, leaving the crowd cheering him on. It supplies for great press, which would make him even more popular. Everyone would train and go to Tenkaichi Budokai for a fun occasion, not knowing what's about to happen to them. But guys, that's going to leave it here. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know what's going to happen in the comment section down below. I had a lot of fun making this one, and although it was small, it's meant to give you a lot more insight as to what happened over the 7 years, since there are two androids. Also, this brings up a fun thing to go into the Buu Saga with. Since Nappa and Raditz have their souls in hell using the Dragon Balls, they won't be able to get revived. So think about that. And yeah, bye!